Good morning and welcome to the 10 a.m. daily weather brief. Looking at today's upper level wind profile, we do have a freezing level at 16,000 feet, and near the surface we have southeasterly winds. However, they kind of quickly veer to a more northwesterly direction, especially as you move up throughout the column. As for our wind speeds aloft, throughout much of the vertical, our velocities do remain in the single digits, with our observed max only being 14 knots, and that was at 9,000 feet. And moving on to our most recent surface analysis chart here to get a general overview of our current setup. Looking much like yesterday's, we do still have that expansive ridge that remains centered over the central United States and Gulf Coast, and that's bringing us this hot and humid weather pattern with our minimal rain chances as a result, and that's due to high pressure being centered just off to our west here. And although our overall rain chances do remain low for today, we could still see an afternoon sea breeze trigger an isolated shower or a storm under the heat of the day. And that brings us to Wednesday, in which we'll see an approaching cold front from the Midwest. Well, it will likely increase our southerly flow and increase our moisture transport into the area, and that will likely work to push our dew points upwards and unfortunately make for a more muggy feel and even create heat indices that will come close, meet, or even exceed the 100-degree mark, and that would then therefore necessitate a heat advisory, so something certainly on the table for tomorrow. And then Thursday comes around and we'll see some more significant changes, and as they get underway, we'll start to see the ridge breaking down, and we'll see a cold front move through later in the day into the evening, and that will bring us our shower and storm chances, and with pretty good coverage over much of Virginia, and we'll see how it makes it over to the shore, but there's a possibility of localized heavy rain in association with that frontal passage, and those rain chances will continue into Friday. And then following the passage of that front, we will be greeted by what could be considered notably more pleasant weather, and that is as a result of a high pressure building in over the Great Lakes, and that's going to bring our highs for the weekend into the upper 70s and induce a nice coastal breeze. So we have a nice weekend in store, but rain chances continue to remain low once we make it through that Thursday-Friday time period. And that leads us to our 24-hour risk chart here, largely unchanged from this morning, with the main concern of the day being the heat and humidity. Those dew points are up there, but they are slowly coming down, and the chance of a heat advisory is certainly there and comes into effect around noon today. As for the chance of any precipitation, there's a very slight chance that we could see a pop-up shower or thunderstorm develop in the heat of the day, so we're moving into those hours, and we might start to see our overall cloud cover increase a little bit, and that is noted off in the Taft to the right there. And winds for today should remain rather light, picking up slightly in the afternoon and then dying down in those late afternoon, evening hours into the early morning of tomorrow, with only 2 to 7 knots expected in those early overnight hours. And moving on to the short-term risk chart on Wednesday, we'll see some clouds early, and then the clouds will begin to clear out and give way to mostly sunny conditions and a high of 90 with greens across the board. No real concern for Wednesday or Wednesday night, in which we'll see mostly clear conditions and a low of 77. And then Thursday, we can anticipate partly to mostly cloudy conditions with a chance of an afternoon, evening storm rolling through associated with that cold front, and a high of 87. Oranges on the board denoting those chances there. And that moves us on to the 7-day outlook. So tomorrow our rain chances do remain low, and we should see mostly sunny conditions. And then Thursday and Friday, that cold front comes through the area. Increases our rain chances with lingering chances through Friday, and then Saturday through Tuesday, partly to mostly cloudy conditions, kind of variable in overall cloud coverage, and temperatures slowly climbing out of that nice comfortable weekend period there towards the beginning of next week. But on the plus side, the rain chances also remain low. So a nice week ahead minus our Thursday and Friday time period, with temperatures on the front end tomorrow being the highest, and a nice comfortable weekend with temperatures climbing back out on the backside. And that concludes the 7-day outlook. I will be back tomorrow at 8:15 with the daily weather operations brief. Have a good day.